if you can get good at this skill, I mean, you can dominate and own your market. How cool would this be? Out of 100 of your perfect prospects, if you were in front of them in some way, shape, or form, let's say 95% of them would be magnetically attracted to what you have to say. Would that be good or would that be good? Huge, okay? So all I'll say is I've personally been mentored and coached by Ann. I personally reached out to her cold after I listened to one of her CDs. She's absolutely phenomenal. And I think you're just going to be amazed at what she has to share with you. So let's welcome up Ann Convery. I appreciate it. Let's do a little more. Come on, let's give her a standing O. All right.
Thank you.
Knock them dead, okay?
Thank you. Yes. Okay. Whoops. So, excuse me, I'm loud. How many of you have ever told people what you do for a living and had that famous glazed eyeball response? You know what I mean? Anybody ever talked yourself out of business? You know, like when you're playing tennis and you just miss that shot, it goes right by you. How would it feel if you were able, anytime you chose, to absolutely mesmerize someone you were talking to? Would that feel good? Great. Okay. I have one more question, and that's the end of the quiz. Does anybody know the average American attention span?
30 seconds.
What?
30 seconds.
No. 10? Less than 10?
7 seconds.
9. Okay. 9. The average American attention span. Okay, speech over. Okay, 9. 9 seconds. That's the attention span of a goldfish. So, the purpose of being here today is to learn how to craft a short 30-second speech using verbs, numbers, and PR techniques that touches the subliminal needs in your prospect's mind. The unconscious, touches the unconscious needs in your prospect mind and makes them want more, leaves them hungry, leaves them wanting more. This is actually pure PR media training applied to business, and it works like a rocket. It's amazing. It's not just an elevator pitch, and I really have to drive this home. This is a message system. I'm going to go over about 4 or 5 of the techniques today. It's a message system that can increase your business, and I will read some of the testimonials, that can increase your business by 20, 40, 60%. One guy doubled his yearly income in 24 hours with these techniques. I'm not kidding. So it works. What are we going to be doing? I'm going to be talking. I'm going to be asking for your help. Maybe someone might be brave enough to come up and share with me. And you will take away an idea of a message and a delivery system that you can use anywhere, anytime, any place. And no one you talk to will ever feel sold. You don't want anyone to ever, ever feel sold. So, would you mind if I told you just a bit about how I started? Take 2 minutes? Yeah? Thank you. I have been media training for 18 years, which is where I learned that no one can tell anybody what they do. And I had to take my job was to take people's life stories and squash them into 1 or 2 17-second sound bites, because that's it. That's all the time you have. And very early on, I was working with a physician, a doctor. He was extremely good looking. He looked like Sean Connery. And he had a fertility system that he was promoting on television. And his problem was he had a very thick accent. He talked like this. He was French, don't know? So he went on TV, and the producers called, and we said, how do you do? And the producer said he was awful. It was awful. He stared at the floor. The audience hates him. Don't send this guy back to us. So I worked with him. And same thing. I got him to take his 30 years of experience, his 2 PhDs, the guy was brilliant, his 1 MD, and squash it into 1 17-second emotional soundbite. Emotional soundbite. And I got him to look me in the eye, and he went back on the show, and we called the producers, and we said, so, what? And they said, oh, he was a doll. The audience ate him up. We're having him back. Thanks. Not only that, his clinic got over 200 calls. So his message did exactly what it was supposed to do. It reached right through the TV medium, right to his target audience. Not only that, I called him a week later and I said, how'd you do? And he said, well, some show called E-R-R-E, I don't know. They called me. They want me to play myself on TV. And I said, you mean ER called you and they want you to play yourself on television? And he said, yes, but I don't know these people. I hung up on them. So much for PR. Anyway, I believe that it is absolutely essential when you're talking about your business to talk about the dollarized, quantified results that you have produced for people and to leave them hungry, leave them curious, leave them wanting more. This is really, really important. Don't give the whole story away. Don't explain the whole thing. If you don't, you're leaving money and business on the table. So, let me ask a question. Anybody know what the Zeigarnik effect is? Yeah? Do you really?
Yeah.
What is it?
It's when you leave people wanting to learn more, you leave them just on the edge.
Thank you. You leave people wanting more, you leave them just on the edge. They want more. This is what this message system does. This is what this delivery system does. It leaves people hungry. Curiosity, single biggest factor in sales. Now you might say, well, I'm not selling anything. No, but you're selling you. And they buy you first. That's what this whole thing's about. They buy you before they buy anything. Human beings are about pattern recognition. This system, this Speak Your Business system, is about pattern interrupt. That's kind of abstract. We will talk about that, and I'll explain it. Human beings are about pattern recognition. We want to put people in patterns, so we remain sane. What you want to do is interrupt the pattern that they have already made about you in their heads, and interrupt it and make them think, I didn't know that. Oh, can I have your number? Can I hear more? So that's the whole purpose of this. Now, this is divided into 3 parts, this talk: listening, the formula, and follow-ups. So the first part is, and I've just given it away, what biological thing do we need people to do when we are talking to them? Listen. Right. Do we listen? No. 3 years ago, everybody said, oh, yeah. Are you listening to me right now? Yes. How many of you are thinking, boy, I'm hungry. I should have had another sandwich. I wish I'd had that cookie. Anybody? Anybody thinking, I wonder where she got that jacket? Anybody? No? Okay. What's the point? The point is that before we listen to anybody else, we're listening to ourselves. We're listening to channel WIFM, what's in it for me? So I walk up to you and I assume, we all do this, I assume that you're a blank slate, that you want to hear what I have to say. Actually, you're probably thinking, I have to get out of here, my feet hurt, if that dog chews the rug again, I'm going to kill him. I burned it, I don't want to burn the dinner again, my husband, this whole conversation is going on. This WIFM is constantly going on, all the time. This is what you want to speak to, this channel. You want to get on this channel. And it's always going on. And you have to break through in order to get through that channel. You have to break through their opinion of you and what they think of you. And the second thing about listening is that we all mentally check in and out about every 7 to 15 seconds. This is normal brain health. You check in, you check out, you check in. You want people to check back in. You don't want them off in mental Malibu, right? One of the ways to do this is to stop using unhearable words. Unhearable words are words that are so shop-worn, nobody hears them. And the brain takes a little vacation when you use them. For example, I was talking to a doctor, and I said, why are you so good? And he said, well, my techniques are safe and effective. And I said, oh, think about this. My techniques are safe and effective. Okay, got it, thank you. We have safe and effective floor polish, dessert topping, tires, baby kits. What is not safe and effective? Everything is safe and effective. Safe and effective is unhearable. It's completely unhearable. You don't hear it. We all do this. There are a lot of unhearable words. What you want to do is use, for example, do anybody have unhearable words here? Success. Interesting. Yes. Totally unhearable. Anybody else? Solution. Pardon me? I have the solution. Yes. Mm-hmm. Upscale, thank you. Yeah. Overused. When you use these words, the brain takes a nap. And we all do it. We all do it. The brain just blips out. One of the things that you want to do is use words that go into the emotional part of the brain, the lizard brain. I call it the lizard brain, it's the amygdala, okay? Why do you want emotion to be your delivery system when you are using these messages? Because if you use emotion, it will go into seriously, a different part of the brain, back here, the limbic system, the older part of the brain, and your message will stay there longer. So you want to use emotion as your delivery system. You want to have emotional trigger words when you're talking. I call it the lizard brain because that's my favorite word for it, but the lizard brain is your best friend because this is where people buy from. This is what makes them curious. This is what makes them want you. Does this make sense? Yeah? Great. Fine. Okay. And here's some more unhearable words. Sales presentations, budget framework, short-term marketing resource, business plans. These are all abstract words. They're frontal cortex words. They get recycled at night in your sleep. You don't remember them. Trigger words. If I said to you, congratulations, I hear you have a new kid in the house. And if I said, congratulations, I hear you have a new baby in the home. What's the difference?
They're emotional triggers.
Baby and home. Baby and home, this is true. When I say trigger words, I'm not kidding. These are in books. Trigger words are actual, they have actual roots. You have unconsciously, whether you know it or not, just made a very warm emotional association with those words. They work for you. They do double duty. They have roots that go into your brain, and they carry an emotional load. They carry an emotional trigger, and that's what you want. You want to use words like that because they wake people up, and they will remain in the brain 3 times longer than anybody else's message. Okay? So another thing is, and if you don't think, one thing, if you don't think trigger words work, I had a woman call me up she said, you don't know me, I'm from Toronto, I'm about to be fired from my job, I sell wine futures, I'm an investment, I sell investments in wine futures for $5,000. She said, I can't make a sale, I think these guys are wealthy, I think they could buy $100,000 units, but I can't sell anything, I'm about to lose my job, can you help me? So what we came up with was, she called everybody on her list and she said, hi, my name is Jody. I'm the firm's Gold Circle investment advisor. And gosh, I don't know why you're not on my list. You certainly should be. You qualify, but I don't see your name. And I'm awfully sorry. I've called on my list last week and I've only got 4 positions left at $100,000 each. Are you in? And I called her 2 weeks later and I said, how'd you do? She said, I sold 3 positions for $100,000. And I said, what did it? And she said, Gold Circle. They ate it up. They all wanted to be in the Gold Circle. So if you don't think trigger words work, think again. They're phenomenal. Another thing about listening, which is really fun, turn to the person next to you, just for the heck of it. I'm going to count, okay? I'm just going to count. Turn to the person next to you and just stare at them for 8 seconds. That's all I want you to do, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Now, in those 8 seconds, okay, guys, let's come back here. Thank you. In those 8 seconds, you've just decided that person's income, their education, their professional status, their heritage, their background, and 150 other things I'm much too polite to mention. Okay? Their income, their education, their professional status, whether or not you want to be associated with them, how successful they are, their background, their heritage, and a lot of other, yes, you have. Yeah, you have. This is how fast we judge people. This is why you need a message. Do you see what I'm saying? This is how fast we judge people. This is how I see you from 12 feet away, and I've made up a whole story about you. It may not be true, but I believe it, and I act on it. We have to do this. Our brains have got to do this for sanity. We've got too much coming at us. The brain seeks to clarify and to categorize this and to create patterns. This is creating a pattern interrupt. So, ever heard of the 12-12-12 rule? 12 feet away, you decide who the person is. From 12 inches away, you make up your mind. And the first 12 words out of your mouth, you write them off. Now, do you want that to happen to you? You see someone from across the room and they made it, oh yeah, probably goes to Curves, probably married, yeah, 2 dogs, station wagon, yeah, probably sells insurance. Do you want that to happen? You come up and you reinforce their opinion of you? No. You want them to go, oh, can I have your card? Can we talk? That's the whole point of this. That's the whole point. So, let's see, what would I like to do right now? Everybody pick a partner, just for the heck of it, just for a minute. Just pick a partner and tell them your message. Tell them what you do. You only have 1 minute. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. 1 minute is over. Hold up your hand. Shh, 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 shh. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. May I have a brave couple come up on stage? Okay, super. Adrian and Claudine. Okay. Okay, great. Claudine, can you tell me what Adrian does?
Yes, she's a home decorator and stager, and she helps people sell their property faster.
Okay. And can you tell me, all right, now, would you buy from Adrian? You would? Okay, great. Can you tell me 3 benefits of what Adrian does?
Yes, she makes the inside of one's home more beautiful.
Okay.
And she helps it sell and helps it sell faster.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. All right, very good. Thank you. All right. Now, Adrian, do you want to do a hot seat?
Sure.
Yeah? Okay. So, all right, tell me what you do.
I stage homes that are for sale, and I make them sell faster and for more money.
Okay, super. What's your best success story?
My best success story is a $3 million home that was on the market 6 months, didn't sell. I staged it, and it sold that day.
Now would you buy from Adrian? Would you like to lead with that story?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Smart.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay.
Got another one?
Yeah. Another one was, went into a house. It was a jumble of rooms. No one could figure it out. Everybody left and hated it. I said, knock out these 3 walls. He did it that week, and we sold it open house.
Okay. That's how many days?
How many days did
Give
we
me
sell?
numbers so I
okay.
understand.
It took them 2 weeks to do the renovation, and we sold within 3 hours.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you. Does anybody see what numbers can do for your message? Anybody get it? Okay. Did you get Adrian much more deeply and much more forcefully when you heard those other two messages? Did you think, wow, my God, I should call this woman? Are you going to remember her if you need a house stager? Okay, what's that known as? That's my personal one. That's known as great gossip. You want to be great gossip. When you're not around, you want them to say, she's fabulous. I know somebody you've got to call this woman. She's phenomenal. Okay? You want your brand to be circulating, and you want it to be really, really hot, really juicy. So let's go. Adrian, thank you. That was great. That was really great. Thank you very much. Okay. I'd like you to do one more thing. Take a number. If you had a secret weapon, if you could put your message, if you could put your communication on steroids, someone calls you up, he's a big fish, a big player, and they call you up and they say, hi, what are you doing? And it rolls right off your tongue so that they think, wow, where'd Larry find this guy? How much would that be worth to you in the next 12 months? Just write down a figure. How much, if you could completely communicate, if your communication was like a rocket, It was totally on target. You could attract and mesmerize, attract anyone you wanted to, anytime you wanted to. How much more business? Just, just a figure. What would you do? How much more business could you do in the next year? Just an estimate. Just write it down. I don't see those pens moving. Write down a figure. Thank you. And put a little circle around it, please. Great. Thank you very much. Okay. Let us go on to the message itself. Oh, let's do this first. Do we judge and label each other? Okay. What do you think of her? She married?
No.
Is she successful?
Yes.
How do you know she's successful?
The haircut. Reading the newspaper.
What did you say?
All the women were answering, but I think the guys have a different perspective.
All right. What? Let's hear it. What?
I would say she's eligible, may not be married, but could be. Either she's got money from parents or this is dead.
This is fascinating. Look. Okay. Thank you.
She's kept. And so
Nope. It's all right. Hey. That is his truth. Deborah's right. That is his truth, right? Right. Okay. There's how many people in this room? 100? There's 100 truths in this room. Okay? Would you do business with her? Okay. How about this guy? Okay. What does he do for a living? Is he successful? What? He's a home stager. He's a home wrecker. He's a model. He's an internet marketing success person. Okay. He works as Okay. It's a good thing I don't know. I'm not related to this guy. All right. Okay. All right. Now, guys, Match.com. All right, guys, this is funny. But think about this. What are they saying about you? What are they saying about you? You are your message. You are your message. When you walk in that door, you haven't said a word, you are your message. 97% of your message is nonverbal. Right? I don't teach nonverbal messaging. I teach the message that's going to crack through all the judgments you just made. See what I'm saying? How is he going to get through to you if he's walking across to you and you're thinking, oh, gigolo, oh my God. What's he going to do? What's he going to say? What is he going to say to make you go, oh, boy, was I wrong? Right? Well, true, there are other things, the more powerful things.
No, I mean, you would say to somebody who thinks he's young and his hair's slicked up, how are you today?
Yes, he would. You're right, but there are also other things to say that are also powerful, and we're going to go over a couple of them. Okay, the difference between telling, selling, and hooking. Just before we get into the message. Okay, the word hooking I use because they use it in PR. All right. Telling. I'm a realtor. I help people find their dream homes, refinance, or buy investment property. You're telling somebody. You're explaining. This is what most people do. That they explain their business, and they hope it's interesting, and they pray that somebody's going to be fascinated by it. And they just try to make it interesting, and they use adjectives. Okay, this is what most people do. They explain their business. Selling. You want to buy a house, no matter what your credit history, I can get you a loan that'll get you a home. Notice the use. Notice the pushy. Notice the use. Notice the second, whatever it's called, second person. Hooking. Okay, most people have to work. What do you do? Do you know most people have to work until July until they can start making money? Now, have I told you what I've done? Have I interested you? If you think you know who I am, you cannot possibly label me. You cannot label me. And I say, really? No, you're kidding. And then he says, yeah, I usually save people from 12 to 30,000 in the initial meeting. We've saved our clients over 40 billion in the last 20 years. Now I have a question. This guy happened to be in insurance, and he said to me, I can't say the word insurance. I clear the room. It's so boring. I can't use it. What am I going to do? This worked really well for him. Now, if he could really do that for you, save 20 to 40,000 in the initial meeting, right? Do you really care if he's in insurance or if he's an attorney or if he's in finance? Do you care? Okay. Do we really care what you do? What do we care about? Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so does he need to tell you he's in insurance? No, he'll probably turn you off. See? But this, anybody could talk to him, anybody. You could have an insurance person, you could still talk to him. Because he's talking about money. He's talking about one of the deepest needs we have and what we want. See the difference? Do you understand the difference? Okay? Let's go. We have, this is the message. I was working with a group of mortgage brokers. And I asked a guy, I said, you know, what do you do? And he said, he wrapped his arms around his body like this, and he kind of squinched up his shoulders, and he got a real goofy grin on his face, and he said, I'm a mortgage broker. I help people find their dream homes. And this wasn't working too well for Jim. And I thought, why is he doing this? And somebody later asked me, they said, was he spastic? And I said, no. What he was trying to do was convey how comfy and wonderful a dream house felt with his body, because he couldn't convey it in words. All right? It wasn't working too well. And we worked together for about 45 minutes, and afterwards I said, you know, Jim, what do you do? And I hadn't touched this guy's body, metaphorically speaking. His chest dropped, his shoulders broadened, his voice dropped, his IQ shot up 100 points. No joke. And I said, what do you do? And he said, I teach people 5 secrets of wealth and cash flow so they can leverage other people's money and hang on to more of their own. His referrals shot up 38%. All of a sudden, you could talk to, even if you have a mortgage broker, you could talk to him. Because what's the worst thing that happens when you talk to well, I'll go through this. What's the worst thing that happens when you talk to somebody and you tell them what you do? You label yourself. You say, I am. What are you? I'm an attorney. What are you? I'm an investor. What are you? I'm a web designer. And what does the brain go? What does the brain go? What does your brain go when someone says that? Your brain goes, got one, don't need you. Right? Oh, got one of you, don't need you. And you're written off. You're categorized. You're categorized. That's what we try to do. We're trying to do it. I don't want you to cost me money. I don't want to have to be bothered with you. There's 200 people in this room. I want to find the important ones. I don't want to, you know what I'm trying to say? We all do this. Do not use the verb I am. It labels you. I am seeking to label you, and you're helping me. Soon as you use the verb am, you're labeling yourself. And I can write you off, and that's what I want to do. Because I don't want to have to think about you. I don't want one more thing to think about. See what I mean? So, use verbs. Use verbs. I accelerate. I transform. I teach. Notice he went from I am a mortgage broker to I teach. Don't use the verbs, try not to use the verbs help and assist. If you help, you're the helper. If you assist, you're the assistant. Try to use really strong verbs when you talk about what you do. Verbs are the most powerful engines in the English language. People identify you with your verbs. Make sure they identify you with something strong and powerful and creative. All right? Yes?
Is that usually how you start this from the beginning, or you want to start with that, as you said, the message or the fact that you bring up? Did you know, blah, 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 and then I transform
Yes.
and say.
Yes.
So
Yes.
start from that.
That's a good question. That's very interesting. Yes, there are many ways to start. I'm giving you the essential formula right here, but there are many ways to start. You can start with a question. What do you do? Did you know that only 5% of people in this country will retire wealthy? I haven't told you what I've done. Have I interested you? Do you know what I do? No. You curious? This whole thing is to raise curiosity. So thank you. You can start with a question, or you can simply start with, you know, I teach people 5 ways to leverage wealth and cash flow, so they can hang on to more of their own money. All of a sudden, we're going to touch this. I go into this in my class a lot further. But all of a sudden, we have touched on one of the 3 biggest things that human beings want: money, love, or health. All of a sudden, he's talking money. If you have a mortgage broker, you can still talk to him, right? Because he's not talking houses anymore. He's talking money. It's a totally different conversation. He has just completely wiped the slate clean, and it's a different conversation. Now let's get on to the next. Oh, I want you to understand numbers. The most powerful thing,